Solo on the Lich, thank you for the 5 arses. 3, definitely. Goodness gracious. A Weeping Willow. It can make drizzle drizzle, and you can just make a dope tree house in its branches. Just super saying. My god, when I have a kid, I should actually learn how to make a tree house. How do people do it? It looks very complex in order to do a tree house. We actually do not have a tree house culture here in Romania, but if I was a kid, it would be the most badass thing you can possibly imagine, like going into a treehouse. The problem, though, is that if you don't build it correctly, it can collapse. So that's a child endangerment. But still, I wish I knew how to make one. Definitely no girls allowed sign, right? Kidding. Now, you guys know about the bear in the woods question. It was very viral on TikTok. It was all the rave. And it was, would you rather be alone in the woods with a bear or a man? And the question was very interesting because obviously almost every single woman in the world, if actually asked, she would say that with a man. Because you're alone in the woods. Like, you need help in order to get out. But in order to be cruel, and in order to get views on TikTok, many women said that they would rather be alone with the bear. And they also didn't understand why men were appalled by this. And the answer is because you're exposing your sexism. Like, you unironically believe that if you pick a random guy off the streets, he's going to want to hurt you. Even though that's not the case. Like women go out on a daily basis and overwhelmingly they come home just fine, right? But they are trying to tell the internet that they believe that the average guy is willing to hurt them if found themselves alone in the woods. It's mental insanity. And in order to show why it's a problem, it's like, okay, what if it's a rabbi? Would you rather be with a bear in the woods or with a rabbi in the woods? And if they say, oh, well, with the bear, so you're anti-Semitic. Or with the black guy, you know, would you rather be with the black guy in the woods or with a bear? Right? Like, the thing is, like, the rabbi and the black guy are a subcategory of the man, right? Like, the man is the all-encompassing, it's universal. But part of the man, like, there are smaller categories, smaller groups. The tree is my new friend in comparison. But anyway, right, so that question was asked. It was settled on the internet. However, a new question arose, which is brought by me, and it's got 1 million views. It made a lot of people angry, and as usually, when I make people angry, they can't really articulate why that is. It's like, why are you angry? And they block me. They can't actually express themselves. They can't really answer why is it that they are angry, but they are. And the question is like, who would you rather share your feelings with? A tree or a woman? And I like the bear in the woods, which was kind of like 70-30%, let's say. This one is 100%. I haven't seen a single person, man or woman, saying that they would rather share their feelings with a woman. Like that is very interesting. And the reason that this is interesting, and it's probably why it gets them angry, is because I like the bear in the woods scenario, which I talked about earlier, that suggests that women would choose the man, but in order to be cruel on the internet, they say the bear. In this scenario, men unironically would share it with the tree. Which actually means like they wouldn't share their emotions. That's what it means. Like they would rather keep it bottled up inside. And the question is why? And the answer is very simple. You can look in the public at what happened with Kavanaugh, what happened with Kyle Rittenhouse, what happened with Jordan Peterson, what happened with many men that ended up breaking in tears in public on live camera. Did they get compassion and understanding? No. They got attacked. They got humiliated. Like, it was even worse, right? So, like, why would you share your feelings with someone? In order to get compassion, right? In order to get that person trying to understand where you're coming from, in order to try and get some goodwill. But if you're going to share it and you're going to actually get worse, like you're going to get attacked for it, you're going to get mocked and ridiculed in your most vulnerable moment, why would you share it again? Hello, William Johnson. So basically, the reason that men don't share it, and this has happened almost, I can't really say all the time, but quite often in my experience, like you go to a person and you share it, right? So you say something like, oh, I'm really worried that I may lose my job. And if I lose my job, I'll go homeless, right? So like you're sharing your concerns. You're sharing your deepest, darkest fears to someone. And that person, you know, like when you're talking with them, they're like, oh yeah, well don't worry, it's not going to happen, blah, blah, blah. But then you're having an argument with that person a couple of days later. Like literally like 2 or 3 days later, and they're like, I hope you lose your job. I hope you lose your job because I know you can't do anything else and I hope you're going to be unemployed. Like literally they're telling you what you shared in your vulnerable moment so that they can use it against you in a petty argument usually. And my fucking God, like that happened to me so many times in my life. And I thought that maybe it's just me, you know, but no, then I find out that this is a common occurrence. And it's not just with men, but like women do it to other women, and it's the worst thing you can do to a person, right? Like you finally open up to someone, you finally show a little bit of vulnerability, and what that person does whenever they have like the pettiest argument, like something that's just that's when they use it against you, and it's so disgusting, isn't it? Jake Martin says that vulnerability doesn't serve men in public and seldom in private. I don't know that it's a bad thing, but it definitely puts a lot of pressure on us. That is true, right? Like if you look at the ancient Greek wisdom, the ancient Greeks had this philosophy called Stoicism. It's a very important philosophy. And the ancient Greeks literally say that men should not expose their weaknesses in public or in private. And the fucking Greeks, like thousands of years ago, we're more educated than them now. But they figured that shit out like thousands of years ago. Hi V, hope your day is good. Another viral tweet. Yeah, this one got a lot of people Asmad, and they can't articulate why. You mean Roman? No. It's Greeks, I believe. Yeah, like the Romans took the knowledge of the Greeks, but Stoicism is a Greek philosophy. Human mindset. Vulnerable man means exploitable and weak. Vulnerable women means that you need to protect. The thing is, you know, like this is also part of Stoicism. It's not for me to change the world. Like, I can't change the world. I can't change society. But what I can do is I can adapt myself to navigate society. Like, if you're a boat on an ocean, you can't change the waves. You can't change the current. But you can navigate your boat in order to avoid the storm. And if you're aware of how society works and how society functions, and you're aware, okay, well, you're sharing your vulnerability with someone, and then they use it against you, and you do it again, and it happens again. Well, you're not going to do it the third time. I mean, sure, you can start a movement where you're trying to lecture people, hey, don't use vulnerability again, but like, no. You share weakness with your best friend. I think that men shouldn't share to begin with. Like, what calms me down isn't sharing and caring. What calms me down is getting into a match of Dota and telling other people over the internet what I would like to do with their mother. Like, that calms me down incredibly well. And I think, like, it calms other people down. So I would want, like, to play with other people like myself that like to be toxic and disrespectful and rude and uncivilized over the internet. And it's consensual, right? Like, I consent to other people being rude and disgusting to me. And I want to play with other people that consent so that I am rude and disgusting to them. And in exchange for that, when I finish playing, I'm like a new person. I'm like a new man. I feel great. And I assume that they feel great as well. But unfortunately, you have the HR hag this villainous negative character that doesn't allow men to feel great. And it's like, no, you're not supposed to be vile and disgusting over the internet, even if it's consensual. And it's like, what the fuck are you? I am the HR lady. I will bring trust and safety. I try sharing with my dad, and he uses it against me. He was a shitty dad. You know what? Juan Francisco? I tried sharing it with my dad as well, and he used it against me as well. I think it's like, I don't know. Why you shouldn't share, period. Don't share, ever. No sharing. The thing is, though, like, if you share, how exactly does it help? But, like, maybe like, it works differently for women. I don't fucking know. But for me, there's, like, when I have a problem, there's two issues. Number one, that, like, this is what happens in my head, right? Like, I got a problem. Can I fix it? Yes or no? Like, for instance, computer breaks. I mean, that's a problem, because now I can't upload YouTube videos, right? Can I fix it? Well, it depends. If I have money in the bank, then yes. Well, okay, I go and I buy a new computer. Would I tell someone that my computer broke and I'm worried? Yes, especially if they can help me. If they have a new car or something so that I can carry the new computer home, yeah, like... But what if I can't fix it? My airplane is late because of the weather. So now I'm stuck in the airport. I'm missing my flight. Does it help to bitch and whine about it? No. If I talk to someone, I call someone up and hey, I'm missing my flight. And they're like, oh my god, that's so terrible. Does it help? No. For me, it literally doesn't help. Like, I don't know how it's like for women, but like sharing these things, it is like if it's outside of my area of control. If I can't fix it, just hearing another person saying the platitudes. And I know they're fucking platitudes because if I were in their shoes, I would say the same thing. You fake a little bit of concern and you're like, oh my god, oh, that is so hard, that is so terrible. Like, what else are you going to say? Like if it's not something that you can provide solutions, and it's not like you can't change the weather, you can't pilot the plane to make it fly faster. Like, there's no point in even discussing it. So Neil Druckmann is an HR lady? Yes, of course. Like, HR lady is a mindset. It's not just a person. So yeah, like, what Nightmare says, if I have a big problem, I share it with my dad so he can offer ideas. That is constructive. That ironically is constructive. Like, you got a problem, my computer broke, I can't make videos, you talk with your dad, and your dad is like, okay, well, can't you use your phone in order to make videos? And you're like, wow, that's really great, but like, how do I fix my computer? I don't have any money. That's okay, I'll lend you, right? So now you fix the issue. Oh, well, that's one thing. But just to bitch and whine about problems, the reality is most people don't give a fuck. Like, again, you're telling someone that your plane is delayed. Like, what can they say? They will say, oh, that's bad. I'm sorry to hear that. Even when someone passes away, right? Like, if you have a bad day and you tell some stranger, or even a friend of yours over the internet, oh, my dad passed away. They'll be like, oh, my condolences, I'm so sorry. Are they really sorry? No. Does it help? No. In fact, honestly, when my mom passed away, like, the thing that I hated the most is people giving their condolences, because, like, you try to get yourself into a mindset that you can function again, and the moment you're, like, trying to find some balance, someone's like, hey, by the way, your mom died, because that's what condolences mean. I guess different people react differently, what can I say? But it was very difficult, let's put it this way. Like the phone was ringing constantly, and I was just trying to just find some balance to, and just oh god. And it's like, what do you even say to that? Like, well, thank you. It's like, I know you haven't spoke with me in like 5 years, but like, I guess. Yeah, it's not like the thing. I guess it's like a fake sympathy, right? Like the person is just doing the thing that they're supposed to do in that situation. Like they saw on Facebook that the person passed away, and it's like, okay, well, I need to give a call because that's what people do. It's not that they're like I don't believe that they were genuinely, sitting there and actually being affected because, come on. Dragon Turtle says that problem is, what can you do for a person isn't a platitude. Even if they can help you, can just say they are just collecting favors from me or trying to look good. Eastern European mindset, I guess. No, not necessarily. It's more like, can they fix the problem? Like, can they help fixing the problem, right? So, like, if someone would have called me and said, "Oh, V, I heard your mom passed away. Like, I'm so sorry. My condolences. Do you need any money? Is the funeral expensive? Do you know what to do?" You know, like that. That would be very helpful. That's like, oh shit, yeah. But there's a difference between that and just like someone that you haven't spoken with like 5 years. Hey, my condolences. It's like, okay, right. Only time will tell someone your flight is delayed is if they're the ones who is to pick up you up from the airport. Yeah, no, that's a good point, right? So like if your flight is delayed, the only person you should tell is if it's someone that actually needs to pick you up or wait for you, and you're like, hey, you know, like my flight is delayed. It is what it is. V, I heard your mom passed away. Do you need the necromancer? No! If your whole premise is they don't actually care, how do you know if they care if they are doing something for you? Come on, you do know. I mean, don't tell me, like... look, if you can't read people and you have no insight, I mean, that's on you. But other people, you know, you need to... it's like this. Everyone knows that there are people who are stronger than them, right? Like, there are people that can lift more than you can. Everyone knows that there are people more intelligent than them. Like, there are people smarter. And then you also need to understand there are people with higher insight than you. I mean, you can look at a person and you can know. You can assess. Now, if you can't do it, that's fine. I can. Okay? I'm not Dev. Dev is one of the people with incredibly low insight. Like, when he created this character, he basically chose not to put a single point in insight, especially when it comes to the government. Like, Dev trusts the government. The government, as long as the government doesn't roll a 1 on persuasion, it persuades Dev, because he has no insight, right? Now, from Dev's perspective, he probably looks at me and he thinks that what I'm doing is magic, because I do have a high level of insight. It's harder to bullshit me. It's not impossible, like, I can be bullshitted, but it's more difficult. Right? With a person like Dev, as long as they don't roll a critical failure, like they did with Epstein, then Dev is persuaded. It's like, oh yes, government good, yeah. Same with companies, by the way. As long as the company has a PR, and fucking Brianna Wu can persuade Dev. Again, it's like, as long as you roll higher than a 1, you persuaded him. Same with Rags. You need to roll higher than 1. That's so weird. I could talk to my dad, says American Outlier, and he shared with me, and unironically can say the things I told him he took to his grave, because I haven't heard no slip of the tongues or loose lips. I would have known by now. Yeah, but like, it means that you are very lucky. Like, your dad was 1 in a million. You actually were very lucky to meet a person that's like that. There are outliers, yes. It's true. Not many, though. Not many people are like your dad, so... Dev would support Google, Apple, and... No, Dev is supporting Sony right now. Like, I don't know how he picks his battles. I don't know, like, how he wakes up one day and it's like, today I'm going to support Sony. It is what it is. I mean, what can you say? You know, when a company needs a champion, Dev is there. It's basically like, oh, well, it's not that... Shift Up wanted to censor Stellar Blade. Because the costumes copyright... I don't even know where he pulls it from. I don't even care at this point. American Outlier, congrats on having a great dad. We aren't all that lucky. Yeah. I also noticed this. It's like people that don't have bad parents, they really don't understand why someone doesn't feel that way about their folks. Like, for instance, I had a girlfriend and she had an abusive father. And one of the things that she was, not abusive sexually, but like abusive as in drunk, deadbeat dad, was very mean to her. Not physical or violent, but like as a person. And everyone was like, oh, but he's your father. Oh, but you need to care about him. You need to like because he's your dad. And the reason she actually loved me is because I was one of the only people that was like, oh yeah, I mean, from what you're telling me, he is a piece of shit, and I guess you need to focus more on your mom, right? Like, family is important, but like, you don't get to pick it. Like, in this situation, yeah, I understand. He's a deadbeat dad, like, he doesn't care about you. You should stop trying to impress him. Just focus on your mom, focus on your other relatives. You know, if things will change, it has to come from him, not from you. And she actually, because I didn't say the fucking platitudes that every single other person was saying. Oh no, he's your dad, he must love you. Oh no, it's like, no, this individual genuinely didn't. Dev supports Windows 11 spyware. My fucking god, with Windows 11, holy fucking shit. God, like, it's almost like Microsoft is now the perfect operating system. Like, there's nothing more that they can upgrade, right? Like, it's already at peak. So now they're focusing on spyware, they're focusing on harvesting data from you, they're focusing on... I mean, if they could make some TOS that, as long as you have Windows installed, everything on the PC belongs to Microsoft, they would fucking do it. Like every single update, every single patch is a new spyware. The worst spyware on the internet is the Windows update. Like, literally, I was asked, I opened my computer 3 days ago, and they asked me, hey, do you want to link all your services together? Like, do you want to link Google Docs to Microsoft? Like, do you want to link all these? And the options that I would get is yes or remind me 3 days later. And I'm willing to bet that if I keep clicking remind me 3 days later, at one point that will just disappear. And it will be like, do you want to link it? Yes. Fucking disgusting. Disgusting. But again, like, why am I going to use Linux now? Is there going to be a Windows 12? Jesus fucking Christ. The thing is, like, can you use Windows XP? I don't think you can, right? Like, it doesn't have compatibility for most modern soft programs, right? Every single program is compatible for Windows 11. But if you could actually prevent Windows from dialing home, my fucking god, that would be great. Dystopian beyond belief. Will just record the screen and is searchable by keywords. Oh, it goes even deeper than that. Apparently, not only do they just record your screen, but like someone was like, okay, but like what about my credit card and shit? Like if I have a picture of my credit card, would they like would they censor that? No, they wouldn't. I mean, why would they? It's not their concern. Just use the... See, like, the problem isn't that you can't protect yourself. Like, if I want to, I can just have a laptop which only has, like, Discord connected to it, and that's it. And that's my computer. And then I have another computer that's completely offline. Like, no internet connection, right? Like, so if I want to, I know how to do it. But the problem isn't that I'm concerned about myself, and Windows doesn't give a fuck about myself. It's percentages of people, the masses. That's why they care, the masses. Like, if the masses have spyware on their computer, they don't even need to know about you personally. They can know about the people around you. For instance, I keep getting commercials for diapers. I swear to fucking God, I have never clicked on a single diaper advert. But the reason I'm getting it is because my wife probably talked about it on social media. So because she talked about it, she said she's pregnant. Now the algorithm knows that she's pregnant. The algorithm knows that she is in a relationship with me. And therefore, that's why I'm getting the commercials. You don't even need to be the person that's getting spyware. It's encrypted and it's just stored locally. Don't worry. Oh, like during the pandemic, this was also a thing that happened. So you had like this system where you would get the Pfizer communion, and then they would give you a QR code. So when you wanted to enter the mall, there was a security guard there, and you would scan your QR code, and you would share all of your private information with that guy. So it was your phone number, your medical health bill, your name, your address, everything, right? So people were genuinely worried about privacy because like, well, this is a security guy. Like he is not someone trustworthy, right? Like he's not a person working for the government. It's just like a mall cop. And you want me to share my data with them, and they were like, yeah, don't worry about it. Like, the system is fine. Like, it's not stored. They don't store your data. I had a friend from med school. Very beautiful woman. Big fat tits. Like, she would never start in a AAA game. Was way too beautiful for the shit that the Californians put in. And she gets a phone call from the security guy at the mall. Right? So, she actually went to the local newspaper about it. Because she was appalled. Like, the guy was 45. And it's like, why did he have access to my phone number? It's like, I went to the mall. So apparently what happened is that when she scanned her QR code, the data isn't stored, but he gets to see it. So he got to see it, took a screenshot of it. Sorry, took a selfie of it. And then it's gone, but like, he's got their number, right? And he used the number to call her. And this is like what happens when you're guaranteed privacy. It's like, hey, just show us your record, but we're guaranteed you privacy. Fuck off. Oh, by the way, V, you can still use Windows 8.1. It should be compatible. However, the last update was in January 2023, but it should still work with no issues. I guess like the only thing that you have to worry about is getting hacked. Like, but like, how many people use Windows 8.1, right? So, like, I think, like, if a recent malware comes out that exposes a vulnerability, like, there's not going to be any patches for it. But yeah, no, like, unironically, if they actually start using that bullshit that, like, screenshots your screen nonstop, I would probably use Windows 8.1. I wouldn't use Linux, but I would definitely think about using Windows 8.1. It's out of fucking principle. Like, who the fuck does Microsoft think they are? You can't play Steam games without at least Windows 10. Oh, fucking hell. Well, see, there you fucking go. I work in security. Here in Belgium, your information was on the paper phone visible for everybody that saw it. So all waiters, security, some random guy at the door. Yeah, it was the same in Romania. And the government was like, no, your data is confidential. Your data is confidential. No one is going to take advantage of it. And the only reason that I know people took advantage of it is because of that girl, which went to the local newspaper. But like, how many other girls also experienced the same shit, and they didn't go to the newspaper? That Windows 11 recall feature isn't that secure, apparently because it uses simple SQLite. I'm not a computer technician, but I know that any private company that stores my data is vulnerable. So unless it's a bank, like even banks can get hacked, but like it's more difficult because they have money for more security. So unless it's a bank, I don't want the company to have my data. I suppose I trust a couple of other rich companies, like, you gotta trust Google, right? Because, like, everyone uses it and shit. To a certain extent. And by trust, I mean I know they won't get hacked. Even though even that can happen. So, it's not completely impossible. Because, like, the way that, the most common way that someone breaks into your email is if you sign up for a video game or some shit. You sign up for Neopets or whatever the fuck, right? And then Neopets gets hacked, and all of their usernames and password go around. And if you use the same username and password like you use for your email, oh, congratulations, you lost your email. Now, the last time it happened, can you guess which company fucked it up? Sony fucked it up. And what's interesting is that normally it would be common sense. Like, hey, you know, you weren't capable of having security. That's fine. But at least have the common decency of calling the people and telling them, hey, by the way, your PlayStation account, yeah, it got hacked. Yeah, can you change the username and password? Yeah, and if you have the same username and password for other things, it's just like, make sure that they waited 6 months. And people could have lost a lot. They could have lost their PayPal. They could have lost, like other shit. Take into account that all you need is, like, most of the stuff that you use online is also connected to one email that you have, right? So, like, for instance, your Steam account. Okay, you can't access it. What do? Well, they ask for an email. Your PayPal account, you can't access it. What do? Well, they ask for an email. So basically, if your email was the same username and password as your Sony account, well, I'm pretty sure I lost at least one email to Sony. I love how people say it's like Sony getting hacked. Goodness, it must be a day that ends in Y. It's also like one thing when the company gets hacked and they fuck with their services or something. But it's another when it's like it's hacked and all their private information goes away, like the informations of their customers. And this is assuming that the company isn't actually interested in trading your information, because like there are companies that sell it to third parties. It's only when it affects the left that they give a shit. It's only with Cambridge Analytica. When it's not with Cambridge Analytica, it's fine. Anyway. Let me see what else is new. Representative Ilhan Omar and Cory Bush just deleted their Memorial Day tweets after revealing they have no clue what it is. I mean, why would they? Next generation Xbox will be a reference design for manufacturers. Long-term goal is to get rid of Xbox. The next generation of Xbox will be the last. According to sources close to Windows Central, Phil Spencer's ultimate goal is to retire Xbox as a brand and focus solely on the Game Pass as Microsoft Gaming, so the service can run on all devices possible with xCloud integration. As the Netflix of gaming, the manufacturing of Xbox consoles will be relegated to other brands such as MSI and Asus. I am so fucking glad they are willing to destroy their company. Holy fucking shit. Oh my god, the sooner the better. I despise Microsoft Gaming. I think Microsoft Gaming... Well, I can't say what I think about it, because then it will be a terms of service violation. But this whole idea of like the Netflix of games isn't working. No one likes it. People don't want it, but they're pushing it anyway. Like in order to be profitable, you need so many people that sign up on it. It's ridiculous. But the reason that I don't like the concept of Netflix of gaming, when is the last time you heard the word retard in a video game? Or in a Hollywood movie? Now if you watch Hollywood movies in the 90s, you hear all the words in the English language. Every single one of them. Right? Why is that? It's because in the 90s, they had this bizarre thing called creative freedom. We don't have that anymore. When I started making my video game, I had to look into Steam and my publisher. Luckily, I got a publisher that doesn't want to censor stuff. Well, actually, he did something regarding copyright, but that's fine. If you are a gaming company and you want to make a video game, you're censored by your publisher, you're censored by the platform that you want to publish the game on, you're censored by the laws of the land. I mean, there are certain countries that don't allow drugs or alcohol in the game, right? You have so much censorship to the point that I don't think it's possible to make another video game like Manhunt, or if you want to make something edgy like Postal, I don't think you can do it. So the idea of like making the Netflix of gaming would add even more to the censorship. Because it would be the situation where, okay, you want to sell your game? Well, you got to go on Microsoft Gaming. And now you got to go to Microsoft. Microsoft, what are we allowed to do? No titty! No booby! If you sell a booby, we will not publish your game. You can show us if it's from a man. We like LGBT content. In fact, you should have LGBT content in your game. But if I see a cleavage, a single drop of skin over there, even if your game is rated M for mature, we will ban it. Why can't you have blood and gore like normal people and toilet humor? Just do the Rick and Morty. But no titty. It's just one example, by the way. American Outline. Holy shit! Thank you for the 20. If we're having a Tech Bro LOL session, you can learn how to dual bot Windows and Linux, or you can do a virtual box within the Linux OS. People don't like the setup of virtual boxes, but when I was working with HadPop, just configured the RAM and storage. Like, the problem isn't that I don't know how to make sure that Windows doesn't track me. Because there's obviously solutions in order to obtain more privacy, but at the end of the day, it's about percentages of people. The masses of people do not do these things. And honestly, you don't want the masses of people to do these things either. Like I remember back in the day when VPN was very safe. Now it's not. Why? Because everyone uses it. Oh, so if everyone uses VPN, well, the government's getting on it and they find out. So you don't really want all of your technological know-how to be shared. No. Do people remember Stadia by Google? Yeah, good time. But the thing with the Netflix of gaming, like you will know nothing and be happy. Also take into account that if they have this, they can always delete whatever games they want and you can't access them, right? Because like what would happen, they will have like exclusive deals with gaming companies and you can't get the game anywhere except from their streaming platform. So if they don't like the guy anymore that made the game, they can just delete the game and you will never get it again. Why should we jump through the hoops and not be spied on? Well, the question is like, why does Windows have monopoly? That's... Stadia was great. I love being able to laugh at Google's failures. The thing though is, and I could have predicted that Stadia isn't going to work from the beginning. The idea was interesting, right? So like you got this account, and then you can play your games from your smartphone, you can play them from your television, you can play them from your PC. But in order to play and the cool feature was that you could play them in 4K. So even if you had a bad PC, even if you had like a very low-end budget computer, as long as you had Google Stadia, in theory you could have played your games in 4K, which at the time was quite huge. But in order to play them in 4K, you needed a really good internet connection. Because technically you were streaming your games. You didn't actually have them on the device. And no one actually did manage to get that. So it was like literally just playing the same games that you can play on your PC, but you had to now pay extra, and you paid them with the console. And it's like, okay. It's not that just online means it can be taken away from you. Which is true, but you're also getting spied on. That's what really bothers me, is the moderation. I mean, the whole thing with Helldivers, they literally said, oh, we need you to make a PlayStation Network account so we can moderate you. Like, we need to have an excuse to censor you and take your game away. Like, fuck off. By the way, isn't Microsoft the ones that made the spell checker on Microsoft Word? So that, it spell checked for things that weren't politically correct. Like, if you said Latin, they would say Latinx. If you said you guys, it would say you folks. If you say retard, it would alt F4 and not save the program. Didn't Microsoft do that? I think it did. Like, they actually had the feature on their spell checker in order to make sure that you're politically correct. It was insane. Majority of people don't have good internet connection. I think that would change though. Unfortunately. Unfortunately, because the more technology you get, the more incentive it is for companies to spy. It's very profitable to spy on people. Yeah, with Starlink, I think people will have access to better internet connections. Because now it's like if you're in a rural area, if you're in the mountains, but with Starlink you just get the thing and oh, well, now you have good connection. Microsoft Word is also a subscription now. Jesus fucking Christ, I actually had this issue. Like eventually I found something, but it was so fucking annoying. Like I wanted to get Excel, and I remember like back in the day, you would buy the thing, like you would buy Microsoft Excel, and it was on your computer. Now it's subscription based. Everything is fucking subscription based. Libor Likota, thank you for the 200 CZKs. Greetings from the Czech Republic. Been watching your channel for years now. Will your game have Kankaku Shadan? I do not know what Kankaku Shadan is. Kankaku Shadan. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. I don't know if it will have it. I don't want to lie. Libre Open Office works well. Yeah, I mean, eventually you do find something. I think Open Office is what I use. But it's so fucking annoying. Man, and there was like this erotica writer. Like it happened a couple of weeks ago. I saw it in the news. There was this lady which writes erotica. Now, I don't know what type of erotica they write. But apparently she's like some famous author. And she was using Google Docs. So she had like 200,000 words. Like that's insane. That's a book level, right? And Google Docs just bans her account. And she can't access it. So now she lost 200,000 pages. 200,000 words. It's insane. But, it's fine, because you can say, well, it's TOS, like, she should have read them, and she should have, yeah, like, Google doesn't allow nudity, even if it's in text, which is, like, mind-boggling, but okay. But, like, imagine everything is like that. Imagine everything is open source. Like, where do you write erotica? Where do you write your 50 Shades? I mean, even Game of Thrones has porn scenes in it. Like, the season 1 was like, oh my god, titty. But... And even when you look at not safe for work, like, there's a difference between pornography and nudity. And even, like, pornography has, like, different levels. Like, if you look at a American movie from the 90s, like a slasher film, Nightmare on Elm Street. In Nightmare on Elm Street, you got, like, the students, right, which, like, some of them, like, are very hot, muscular, big booba, everything. And sometimes they have sex, right? But it's implied. It doesn't actually show the penetration. It just shows the lady bouncing on top or whatever. I mean, that can be considered porn, right? So now, what do you do? Like, these are acceptable just because they used to exist in the past? So in the past it was different, so now we can have them today. Can you imagine, though, like, seeing that on a big screen? Because every single time I go to the cinema, there's no more sex scenes in any movies whatsoever. But back in the day, you had so many, it was actually disgusting. Like, back in the day, it was a different problem. Every single movie, randomly, just a sex scene, for no reason. But now you have none, even when there should be. Like, even when there should be one, and it would make sense, they don't add it. Some women erotica would put Berserk to shame when it comes to level of dark. Holy shit, dude, like, when I made my game, I actually asked in the chat on my Discord server, I asked, like, what are you guys into? Like, what type of fetishes do you have? Like, maybe I can accommodate. And there was this woman, holy fuck, I wonder if she's in the chat. She said the most disturbing fetish that I have ever heard about. I didn't even know it exists, and then I check it, and it's like, no, it's a thing. So this lady comes to me and she says, like, look, my fetish is a little bit bizarre. And I'm like, oh, come on. It's like, dude, you're a woman. And like, well, what can you possibly be into? What can you possibly be into that I don't know? Like, you're coming to me. You're coming to me and you're saying that your stuff is bizarre. What is it? So what she would have liked to do was to take a man and amputate all of their limbs so that they are stuck in bed as a human torso, and she gets to feed it and pet it and nurse it to health. Well, not to health, but like nurse it. That's some strong mother instinct right there, but it's also like the most fucked up thing that I have ever heard. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, like what? Like, Nani? Come again? Mushy mushy? Domo! And she's like, oh, it's just a fantasy. Like, it's not something that I would actually do. And I'm like, well, I guess. Who am I to judge? But still, like normally I do not judge, but in your case, I'm judging as in it's like it's a weird type of judgment. Like I'm not saying you shouldn't enjoy reading romantica for it if there's such a thing that exists, or however you get the mileage from it, as long as you don't do it in real life, obviously. If it's fictional, you're watching your cartoons or whatever, like, okay. But, like, if I put it in my game, I don't think it would be well received. I don't think there's a market for it. This is exactly how I say it. I don't think there's a market for it. I'm sure, like, somewhere out there, an artist is making money off of it. I'm pretty sure that, like, there is, like, a very, very, very niche thing of it. However, well, it's like, I'm not judging, yes I am. It's like, I am judging, but not in the sense that I would go out of my way to tell the person that they should stop. Or that I would stop being friends with them. It's like, can we not talk about it? It's kind of like that, just don't bring it up again. Like, it's okay, but don't. You do you in your private time, but not in my DM. Don't, shush. Yeah, no, I would not add branding with hot iron. No. But it's like one of those things that you hear about it and you're like, what the fuck? If there's even a small amount of demand, there's someone out there who can profit, I guess. Make a nugget ending. I think it's funny. No, Reigning Terror. Absolutely not. Jesus Christ. Big yandere energy. Yeah, that's that's literally the way I would say it. Yes, like she had very, very big yandere energy. I hope she's not hot in real life, because I don't know how she looks like. But like if she has that yandere energy and she's hot, I feel sorry for the man that we can be friends. Also, if he never drank or ate with her. Well, it's not like I can drink or eat with people online, because like they're from different countries. So there's also that. Guys, that is what a yandere girlfriend would do to you? Jesus. Yeah, no, I do have sadistic succubi, that is true, but like, but this is why I don't judge, like everyone has weird things and we find other people's weird things to be disturbing. At least like my game, like unironically, I did write it as a horror, like it's kind of like Resident Evil when you're trapped with the vampire ladies, like they're supposed to be hot and scary at the same time, so it's not like, but that person genuinely was seeking that. It is what it is. I don't know how to articulate it. There is a difference out there, I just don't know how to put it in words. Yeah, pretty much. It's like sadistic succubi. It's vanilla sadism, it's vanilla. It's like, I mean, if you go to sadism, like, that's basic bitch. It's not like the Nugget. No. The Nugget is advanced. It's expert say, it's like a level beyond. Yeah. I think that's how you articulate it. That's a very nice way to put it. Guys don't have much room to speak. Guys wanting to date hot women who stabbed her boyfriend to death in Japan. Well, okay, I can tell you that. I can explain why that is. Like, first of all, there is this human attraction towards the broken person. Like, I can fix the mentality, which is why in the United States a lot of serial killers get a lot of love letters from women in real life. The question, though, is, would that person actually date the serial... Because I don't know. It's kind of like the bed in the woods question. Like, a lot of people like to think that, no. I think it's a fantasy. Like, those women that send those love letters, like, they know that the person isn't getting out. So I think it's like a fantasy thing. I don't know, like, how many men would actually date that woman that stabbed her boyfriend, though. there's also people that are turned on by danger. Yes, like one of the fetishes that one of my exes had, which again is a very bizarre fetish. She wanted to do it on a balcony from a high-rise apartment. Like she wanted to sit on the bar at the balcony in order to have like that sensation that she can fall off. And I was like, no, because if you do fall off, then the cops are coming, and if the cops are coming, I ain't explaining. So we're not doing that. No. And she was upset that I didn't do it. But it is what it is. It's like, well, find someone more daring. I'm not that daring. I am daring, but not like that. Was this Kirsche? No. No. Women, I would rather get eaten by a bear than encounter a man in the woods. Oh my god, that serial killer is so hot. Well, I wouldn't say that is the same women, right? I don't know, like, if the same women that would pick the bear over a man would also write love letters to various serial killers. Look, Jack, I'm flying. And come. You know, like there's I just saw a video of sorry, not a video. I saw the story of a guy that was taking selfies by going up on really tall buildings and then like sitting you know, like grabbing the ledge and taking a picture like that, or placing himself upside down. Let me see if I can find the picture so you guys know what I mean. But it's basically like okay, I found it. So you got like individuals that take these types of pictures, right? I mean, the internet is filled with them, and I generally don't fucking understand it. And these are real pictures; they're not photoshopped or anything. And I'm thinking, like, okay, when you take a picture like this, like, two things can happen. Number one, the picture is successful. And if the picture is successful, like, what do you get? Well, you get people online that will say, wow, that's a stupid thing to do, isn't it? I'm glad he's not my kid. I mean, seriously, I'm looking at the comment sections on various platforms. I'm looking at the comment section on Reddit. I'm looking at the comment section on Twitter, on YouTube. Like, most people would say, wow, yeah, that's pretty dumb. Like, no one is like, wow, that's amazing. Holy shit, what a nice picture. No, everyone is like, dude, that's kind of fucked up. Now, what's interesting is, like, if you want to put your life in danger, you can actually do mountain climbing. And if you do mountain climbing and you actually climb all the way to the top, then people go like, oh my god, that's so fucking awesome. Wow, you made it all the way up to the mountain? Wow, holy shit. Right? So, like, theoretically, if you want the adrenaline, you can actually do it. Like, you can get the adrenaline. But, like, all these pictures that are taken with people that risk their lives like this, like, most people are like, wow, that's pretty dumb. In this case, this guy actually fell to his death, right? So, like, best thing that happens is the picture is a success. And everyone goes like, wow, that's pretty stupid thing to do. Like, can you stop? Like, why are you doing it? In fact, there's even legislations around some buildings where it's illegal to climb it because of stuff like that. Bad thing that can happen, you fall to your death, your family cries, your friends are upset. It's like, and you're dead? Like, why would you do that? I don't fucking get it. Do cave exploring like normal people. I remember when someone planked down the Grand Canyon. Is that a thing? Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, no, there has been many cases of people dying doing this shit. Like, it's not an outlier to do shit like this. But again, like, if you're doing rock climbing and you're dying, like, most people are like, oh my god, that is so bad, you know, that's horrible. It's like, oh, how could it happen? Oh, what, did they not secure the ropes? Oh, if you die while skiing, same shit. It's like, wow, that's so unfortunate. Like, did he not see the tree? Oh no, he lost control. But if you die doing that, everyone is like, wow, that was fucking stupid. Even though, like, in my mind, rock climbing, skiing, and doing that they're equally stupid. Like you're doing extreme sports, basically, right? Like you're doing something, like, same with extreme skateboarding and other extreme sports. It's like, well, you're putting your life in danger, and for what? And the answer is, like, some people want adrenaline. It's like, it's fine. I guess, you know, if you want adrenaline, but, like, do you want my sympathy as well? Like, if something bad happens, do you want my sympathy? Because you're not going to get it. I got sympathy for other people. I got a limited amount of sympathy. I don't have that much sympathy. So, you know, like, my sympathy is for the homeless. It's for people that get sick with cancer. That's where my sympathy goes. And unfortunately, I can't deprive those people from my sympathy to give it to you. By the way, there's a British show which is actually very interesting. It takes rich kids, like aristocrats, and makes them have to stay homeless for 3 days. It changes their perspective in life. I think like every person should have to go through this. Every single person should be homeless for 3 days. It really changes your perspective. It makes you appreciate people more. So, and by the way, being homeless in London, like there was a guy that was about to stab. It's like, are you a cop? I've never seen you around here. Are you a cop? I'm going to stab you. It's Jesus. Skiing is safer than driving. Well, yeah, because a lot more people drive than people ski. But like if everyone was skiing, I think like it depends where you're skiing as well. If you're skiing on like a normal slope, then it's fine. But if you're skiing on some like goddamn mountain where people rarely get that, no. I have never slept on the streets. Well, neither did I, but I assume it's very uncomfortable. Yes, I did hear about the Naughty Potty Cave, which is why I even brought it up. Being temporarily homeless is called camping. Well, no, like they're not allowed to leave the city. Like that's the whole thing. You gotta be in the city. And you're not allowed to take anything. You're just homeless. If you're actually homeless, your life is in danger. If not from the weather and animals, then from other humans, yes. But what's interesting is that the way they compose themselves, like the aristocrats, like they were composing themselves very well. Like they generally had a stiff upper lip as they were suffering the elements. Because like most of them, they were trained into survival and nature because they would go hunting and stuff. So like they weren't foreign to the concept of sleeping outside. But they weren't expecting like people with a knife to try and shank them just because they're there. Anyway, I'll end this here. Thank you guys for the super chats. Hopefully I managed to give you some entertainment. And I'm going to go upload the videos on my secondary channel, and I'll see you all later. Take care.